Good morning, everyone. My name is Scott Solomon. I'm with One Digital Health and Benefits. I'm fortunate enough to be the health insurance broker between Daughterly Companions and Independence Blue Cross. As a forewarning, I do not work for Blue Cross. I work for you. So if you ever have questions regarding bills or claims, you need a new ID card, you need help finding doctors, you want to talk about anything healthcare related, please feel free to give me a call or my office a call. In front of you is a PowerPoint that's going to illustrate the importance and the timeliness of open enrollment, what you can expect, and then a little bit of information on how to enroll, and we'll keep this moving as a conversation. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to either type them to me or shout them out. So as a heads up, I guess I should say, since this is the first time Daughterly Companions is offering benefits, we do have a department called a Client Advocate Center at One Digital. I help manage the Philadelphia office, but I'm not always in the physical office. So if you do need answers to questions that are rather timely, please feel free to reach out to our Client Advocate Center. The phone number is listed there. They have an email address. They're available 12 hours a day through phone, email, fax, or online chat. If you need help finding doctors, ordering new ID cards, understanding the healthcare system, please feel free to give them a call. They have access to all the same information that I do. The goal is really for you guys to never have to call Blue Cross. You can call us and we'll take care of whatever you need on your behalf. So everything we're going to talk about today is for a December 1st effective date. And with that comes open enrollment. So just like you might have experienced this at other companies, we are going to be moving forward with benefits effective December 1st. And this is the time right now when you can come on the plan without any questions being asked. So if you are eligible, which I believe all of you are, you're working the requisite number of hours, and you're hired as a full-time employee, you are eligible for benefits. And this is the time when you can come on to the plan without any questions being asked. If throughout the year you have a baby or you get married or divorced, you are allowed to change options at that point as well in what they call a life event. And other than that, because your deductions are going to be on a pre-tax basis, then you are not eligible to make changes unless there is a life event. It's a federal guideline. It's not through me. It's not through Blue Cross or Daughterly Companions. It's a federal guideline saying that because your deductions coming out on a pre-tax basis, you are not eligible to change plans unless there is a life event. You guys will be receiving handbooks if you haven't already. In that handbook is all of our contact information. On the left here is the broker contacts. Michael Steinberg is my boss. If you want to give him any positive or negative feedback on this, or if you want to talk to him about other benefits, please feel free to reach out to him. My name is Scott, and then Kristen and Curtis are my colleagues in the office that kind of back me up on a day-to-day basis. On the right, you have your HR contacts, Chancey, who is the CFO at Daughterly Companions, her contact information, and then Nadine's as well, the Human Resources Manager. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone here. And everything is also within our company HIPAA protected. So everyone in our entire organization, from the mailroom to the president of the company, is HIPAA certified. So we take that very serious, and everything is confidential. When you talk about healthcare, obviously you have to mention healthcare reform, kind of what got us to this point. Daughterly Companions does not have to offer coverage yet. You guys are growing rapidly in size. However, Karen and Chancey are offering coverage because they want to take care of their employees. You guys are the most important people in the world to them. And in order to help grow a business, you need to make sure your people are happy. So by offering benefits, it's their showing of appreciation to the great job that you guys do. And in talking about healthcare reform, really the plan behind the whole process was to make healthcare more affordable and accessible to everyone, which has occurred. Everyone has the ability to buy health insurance today. Affordability, I say with quotes around it because everyone's definition of affordable is different. But the main concept of providing everyone with access is great. And the fact that dependents are covered to age 26, there's free preventative visits, they're all part of the healthcare plan. So while it might be free or great additional benefits, they do come at a cost, and that's really built into the premiums that you see. Down the line, who knows what's going to happen? I don't even think President Trump knows. It's an extremely political hot topic today. And we have a team in Washington that is on Capitol Hill and provides us with up-to-date information as soon as it becomes available. So if that does apply to you guys, you'll certainly be the second to know after me. Any questions on that? No? For the time being, we are being told that everything is business as usual. So again, if you hear anything, you want to talk about it, please feel free to let us know. As part of healthcare reform, there is pre-preventative visits for women and OBGYN checkups for women. Men get a once-a-year annual physical that's free, but there's coverage for domestic violence screening, breastfeeding support, routine mammograms, birth control and HPV, HIV testing, nutritional counseling. There's a lot of different free perks that come with healthcare reform, but again, you have to remember that they are built into the premium. So it is free to access the care, but it's built into the premium, and you're not necessarily going to see these things go away anytime soon. For men, I also mentioned the free preventative physical. One thing I do want to point out is that when you go to a doctor for your preventative care, make sure they code your visit as a free preventative visit. If you go to a primary or an OBGYN checkup, tell them you want this to be coded as your free visit, because if they are checking out other issues on your body or that you talk about, they might bill you for additional services when it's not just your free preventative visit. So make sure you take advantage of that and ask questions. Yes, Kimmy, you want to tell the doctors to code it that way. You don't have to, but you want to, because you want to make sure that it's free instead of that copay. So here are the 3 plans that are being offered through Independence Blue Cross. There are 3 options. The first plan here is the PPO base plan. It's a silver plan. It has referrals are not needed and has access to the Blue Cross National Network, the National Blue Card Network. So you can visit any provider across the country, just like you're here in Philadelphia. Primary care copay for more than just your preventative visit is a $30 copay. Specialists are $60. And then you see here for routine radiology and complex radiology after deductible. Same for any inpatient stay or hospital care. You have a $3,000 single deductible or $6,000 for a family. And then you have copays that apply for your routine radiology, complex, hospital care, emergency, and urgent care. Meaning, if you slip and fall and go to the emergency room, it is a $3,000 deductible followed by a copay. If you're admitted to the hospital for surgery, or if you're going for an MRI or X-ray, it's going to be the first $3,000 and then $70 copay. And if you chip away at that $3,000 over multiple visits, then you've hit it for the year, and then that would reset December 1st next year. When you see a specialist, you do not need a referral. You can go to any specialist across the country as long as they're inside the National Blue Card Network, which is inclusive of about 96% of doctors across the country. If a doctor locally does not take this, chances are they don't participate with any insurance. If you go to the hospital, again, you have that $3,000 deductible and then a $600 per day, max of 5 days, and then it's covered 100%. If you're in the hospital for a month, you're paying your $3,000 deductible plus $600 per day times 5 days. That's another $3,000. It would be a $6,000 bill. Any outpatient procedures, there's a $600 copay after the deductible. Then emergency room, it's $300 after the deductible and $125 for urgent care. For prescription drugs, $7 for generic, $60 for brand name drugs, and $150 for a non-formulary drug. You're always going to find a drug in Tier 1 or Tier 2 for any ailment. And if the doctor prescribes you a Tier 3 drug, always ask the questions as to why. A lot of times doctors are prescribing prescriptions that might just be fresh on their minds because a rep was recently in, or it might be the most effective for you. So make sure you understand as to why you're taking the prescription and ask if there's any lower cost strategies to getting that difference. Because if you look from a $7 generic to a $150 brand, that's $143 a month. There's also a mail order benefit. So if anyone's on any maintenance medications, birth control, cholesterol, blood pressure medications, something that you take on an ongoing basis, you can do a 90-day supply for a 2 times copay. And you save yourself the trip to the pharmacy. Specialty drugs are covered at 50% up to $1,000 per month. I'm happy to talk to anyone on an individual basis if they have any prescriptions that they fear are specialists. Or you can go to Blue Cross's website and see if your specific drug is under that piece. And then you have other biotech injectables that are covered at a $100 copay. One thing I do want to mention is that this plan, as well as the next one I'm going to go over, do not include Walgreens and Rite Aid as in-network pharmacies. You cannot go to Rite Aid or Walgreens. You can go to CVS or any other local pharmacy. Another thing to know is that when accessing lab work, it is covered 100%. However, you want to make sure you go to a LabCorp provider. Do not go to Quest. Quest is out of network. Please go to LabCorp. Vision coverage, you have a $150 credit every 12 months at any Davis Vision or a VisionWorks provider. That's for glasses, frames, or contacts. And then if you do choose to go out of network, you have a $7,500 single deductible, $15,000 per family, followed by 50% of co-insurance to a maximum of $25,000 or $50,000. So it's very, very important that everyone stays in network because you have a lot of out-of-network exposure. The network in the Philadelphia area is tremendous, and across the country, it's fabulous. Every major hospital across the country is in network, and you'll never be in a region really without any access to care. Any questions on the PPO Silver Secure before I go to the next plan? Okay, the next option is the HMO Gold Proactive. This plan does require referrals to a specialist, and it only provides coverage in network. You are limited to the Philadelphia 5-county area and that network. And this plan is a little unique as it takes the local Keystone network of providers. Can you turn off the music, please? Hello?
God, I don't know where that's coming from.
It looks like it
wasn't me singing.
Someone probably put me on hold.
Oh.
That's all right. So this plan, the HMO plan, is takes the Keystone network locally and it breaks it into Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. And every doctor and hospital will be included in one of the 3 networks. And if you go to a Tier 1 provider, a primary copay is $15, a specialist is $40. A Tier 2 provider is $30 for primary and $60 for specialist. And tier 3 provider is $45 for primary and $80 for specialist. Lab work, again, is covered at 100% if you go to LabCorp. Routine radiology, your x-rays are a $60 copay and MRIs are $120. To clarify, Class 1, Class 2, and Class 3 providers are all based on the contracts between Blue Cross and that provider. If you go to Blue Cross's website or if you call the specific doctor you want to see, you can see which doctors are in which network, which hospitals are in which network. At the office, there is some forms I left with Fancy that illustrate which hospitals locally are in which tiers. And Doylestown and Abington, which I believe are the most commonly used hospitals amongst your population, are both tier 1. And that includes most doctors. So I'd say 90% of the time, if a hospital is tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3, that number will respond as well.
I don't know where that's coming from.
Yeah, it must be some ghosts of Halloween.
That's it.
If you visit a tier 1 hospital, it's $350 per day, max of 5. The most you'd be on the hook for 2 days would be $700, or 3 days, $1,050, and so on and so forth until you hit 5 days, and then it's covered 100%. Works the same way for tier 2 and tier 3. However, tier 2 is a $700 copay, and tier 3 is an $1,100 copay. Both max out at 5 days, so the most you'd be on the hook for there is that 5-day copay. Any outpatient procedures, such as a endoscopy or a knee procedure where you're in and out of a hospital-based setting, it's $150 at tier 1, $550 at tier 2, and $1,000 at tier 3. Emergency room, it's a $400 copay, and then urgent care, it's a $100 copay. Prescriptions, it's $4 or $15 for generic, and then brands are covered at either 50% to $200 or non-formularies to 50% to $300 dollars per month. There's also the mail order benefit, and this network does exclude Walgreens and Rite Aid. There's a vision benefit of $150 every year as well. Any questions on the proactive plan? Okay, and now the last option.
Me for 1 second.
Question?
Yes. So when you say referrals needed, I think you did address this, but I'm just making sure. You only need referral for a specialist or for primary too?
So on this plan, you'll actually have to select the primary care physician.
Okay.
And the other 2 options you do not, but if you do select this plan, you do need to select a primary. And from that primary, you have to go to any specialist that you would like, except for there's 4 specialties that you have to go where the primary sends you, and that's for physical occupational therapy, chiropractic care, lab, and radiology.
Right. Okay. So that they would.
But other than that, you can go wherever you want as long as they participate.
Okay. All right. Great.
And
Thanks, Scott.
You can call your primary and ask for a referral. Yep. And it'll be good to go from there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. The third option is the PPO Gold Preferred. There's no deductible on this plan. It has the national access. There's, again, no referrals. It's $35 for your primary. It's $70 for a specialist. Routine radiology is $70. Complex radiology and MRIs, $175. Inpatient hospital, it's $600 per day, maxes out at 5 days. $300 for a hospital, for a procedure done at a surgical center, or $700 for a procedure done at a hospital. The emergency room is $450 per visit, and urgent care is $125 per visit. Generic drugs are $7, brands are $50, and non-formularies are $150. You also have the mail order benefit and vision coverage as well. And you do have an out-of-network benefit, but again, it's a high deductible, and I do not recommend going out of network. In Philadelphia, we have great access to care, and 96, 97% of all doctors and 100% of the hospitals are in network. So you shouldn't have any need to go out of network unless you see a doctor that does not participate with any insurance. Any questions? And you have the ability to take home a copy of this, as well as the handbook that illustrates all of these numbers and information. Here are the costs. So the costs are based on the group as a whole. And because we don't actually know who's going to be enrolling yet, we took a very high average price and then added 10% on top of that. So with the pricing that you see here is not going to be final. When we get the enrollments back, we'll be able to come up with a final price, and we are under the assumption that it's going to be lower than these. So on a monthly basis, the PPO Silver Secure costs $620 per person per month. The company, Farley Companions, is going to be paying 80% of that premium, and you would be responsible for 20% of that on a pre-tax basis. On a per pay basis, it comes out to $57 per pay. And the company is paying 80% of this plan. If anyone would like to add a dependent or buy up to one of the additional options, you can see the price is here. So the difference between the HMO Gold Proactive and the PPO Silver Secure is $19 a month, which is around $9 per pay. If you wanted the PPO, it ends up being roughly roughly $80 more per pay. So,
I think it's important to note there that the monthly premium is up top, so it would be double. You would to get that number, you would do double at the bottom because that is per pay, not per month.
yeah, this is per pay, and this is on a monthly basis. So I just want everyone to be sure that you understand that this is not final pricing, and the goal is for this price actually to come down. There is a question, if we start with the base plan, can we change next year? Yes, so if you wanted to change plans, you'd have to have what they call a life event throughout the year, a birth, death, divorce, or a spouse's open enrollment change to leave. But you are locked into the plan that you choose until next December 1st. But getting back to the pricing, if you look at the difference between the $66 and $57, if it's $9 a pay or for $20 more or so a month, you get rid of that deductible, but then you have referrals. On the flip side, for $80 or so more per pay or $170 more a month, you can have no deductible and go to the PPO buyout. For $170 a month, that's around $1,500 for the year. To have a $3,000 risk, it might not be worth it. If you're someone that has a lot of accidents and needs to go to the emergency room, or has a procedure coming up, or something scheduled where they know they're going to need to see multiple doctors or hospitals or major care. From a pricing standpoint, you could get an MRI and it could cost you, between $1,000 and $2,000. Just have to be careful because it's going to be your money. It's coming out of your pocket if it's on the base plan. Whereas there's more first dollar coverage, the insurance company's picking up a lot more early on any of the two buyout plans. Just kind of a word of advice. Any other questions on the pricing? I always make a push for generic drugs. Generic drugs are proven to be safe and effective because they've come off of their patent. They've been around for a number of years. They're safe, they're effective, they're still monitored by the FDA. I always make an effort to remind people to ask their doctors as to why they're prescribing certain medications, and if there is a generic available, or if they have samples, or if they're prescribing you a 10 milligram tablet, can they give you a 20 milligram tablet that you can break in half? You can save some money. Just a lot of different cost-effective strategies to kind of get the same care that you need. If there are drugs that are expensive you can't afford, you can always reach out to the manufacturer as well, who typically provide discounts or even free. So please feel free to ask questions. Just like if you're buying a car or a TV or anything, you want to ask questions. Blue Cross also has something called the Healthy Lifestyles Program. So if you join a gym and you register for the program and you go 120 visits to the gym in a year, give you back $150. If you are a tobacco user and you join a program to help quit, they'll give you back $150. If you're on a weight management program through Weight Watchers or online or in person or at a hospital-based program, they'll give you back $150 as well. All of this information can be found at ivexpress.com. That's Blue Cross's website for all things Blue Cross and for your health. So it can track your claims for the last 2 years. You can order ID cards, you can view referrals, you can find doctors that are nearby, you can get ID cards. There's a lot of different things you can do. And then I also recommend downloading the app on your phone, where you can always have your ID card with you. You could take a screenshot of it, you could text it to a spouse for a child, or make sure someone else has it at all times, God forbid there's ever an emergency. And if you're traveling, you can always find doctors and hospitals that are near you with the app. It's a pretty cool tool if you are someone that does travel or they are looking to kind of expand their health horizon. When you're looking for a doctor, for the HMO plan, the HMO Proactive, you do need to select a primary care physician. So if you go to Blue Cross's website, you'll hit Find a Doctor. It'll take you to this screen. You'll select the HMO Proactive. You'll do a search for where you're locating. You can type in the name of a doctor or practice and hit search, and it'll give you all the information that you need. If you are taking the Keystone HMO, you do need to select the primary, and when you have a primary, please send that information to Nadine, to Chancey, or myself, and we'll make sure that you are connected to that doctor when you enroll with Blue Cross. Because the enrollments are going to take place through the ADP Workforce Now system, and there isn't a tool on there to help capture that primary care physician. And if you want to be able to see a primary, you have to have one selected. So please make sure you reach out to me, and I'm also going to be auditing the group to make sure that if anyone is enrolled, that they do have a primary. So please make sure that you do have one listed, or I can help find you one. Any questions? So as a reminder, my name is Scott Solomon. I work with the One Digital Health and Benefits. I am lucky enough to be the broker for Daughterly Companions. If you ever have questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly or our Client Advocate Center. We do not work for the insurance company. We work for you. If you have billing problems, claim issues, benefit questions, please give us a call. Thank you guys very much. And at this point, I will open it up for any questions. And if not,
Scott, you mentioned something before about the ability to talk to a doctor online without having to go to the doctor. Are any of those type of visits covered, or that's just something you pay for out of pocket?
Yep. So on the Blue Cross plans, it does come with a telemedicine benefit. And if you download the app, you can access that, where you can talk to a U.S. board certified doctor 24 hours a day through your cell phone on a FaceTime visit. It's $40 per call, and that's on all 3 plans.
Okay, and can they prescribe medication, antibiotics and things like that?
Yeah, they can prescribe antibiotics and regular medications. They're not going to be able to prescribe narcotics. When you register with the program, you'll enter in your local pharmacy's information, and they'll be able to call in the prescriptions right there.
Terrific. And that's through the IBX Express website we would find that?
Yep.
Okay. Terrific. Anyone else have any questions?
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen in today. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and have a great weekend.